Hey, this is Mark Spunauer with Laptop Magazine, and today we're here with something that we weren't sure we would ever see. It's the Verizon iPhone, and we want to give you a quick overview of the device. We've already turned in our review, and spoiler alert, it's an editor's choice because Apple has managed to combine what we still think is the best smartphone on the market in terms of hardware and software with Verizon's reliable network. And we saw significant data performance gains versus AT&T. And it was the difference between being usable and not usable in New York, so it's huge if you live in a congested area. But let's give you a quick overview of the design, and there aren't a lot of differences between the Verizon iPhone 4 and the one for AT&T. If you put them side by side, I mean, they both have the Retina display, 960 by 640 resolution, which is still awesome. You can see that the viewing angles are ultra wide, has a great contrast ratio, and so it's super sharp, bright, and detailed on both devices. If you put them side by side or stack them on top of one another, you'll see that there is a minor difference in terms of where the bands are placed on the Verizon version. This is the one up top. Both of the devices are made of steel and glass, so it's sort of modeled after sort of like a luxurious camera, and the effect still works. We still think that the iPhone 4 today, even 7 months after being on the market, is one of the most luxurious smartphones ever made, and nothing on Verizon's network really touches it yet. But so there's some subtle differences here. So you will need either a new universal case that Apple will be rolling out, or you will need a new third-party case for the iPhone 4 in order to accommodate these new bands, which pushes the mute switch and the volume button slightly lower. But that's really the main difference. I mean, otherwise, you can see that the bands are in different places. You still have the stereo speakers. You still have you don't have a SIM card slot on the right-hand side like you do with the AT&T iPhone. And up top you have the power button and the 3.5 millimeter jack and the trusty home button that's been there since the beginning. So the interface is just as intuitive as before. You have double tap for multitasking. You can switch between all of your applications easily. You also have the ability to create folders, which is really important when you have multiple apps across a lot of screens. And it's still easy to search for anything, just using this universal search option over here, like an app like Pandora. It's one of the ways that we use to get around it. It's just as easy as before. Other features that are worth pointing out, even though it was on the older iPhone, is that you have the, in addition to the Retina display, you have the front-facing camera up here, and that could be used for FaceTime calls, and we can show you what that looks like real quick, just in terms of the quality. So this is a call that we had earlier. We took a screenshot while we were making a call with someone else on an AT&T iPhone 4. And you can see that the quality is pretty good. It's about on par with a notebook, a mainstream notebook, not a high-resolution webcam. But the difference between the FaceTime for iPhone, which also works with the iPod Touch and Macs, is that it's really easy to set up. And you can also press this button down here to switch to the back camera during a call, so you can show other people what's going on around you. And since we're here, we'll go back to show you just what some of the pictures look like. These are just some pictures of flowers that we took outside in Manhattan. So you can see that the colors are nice and bright, details are pretty sharp. Even when blown up on the big screen, almost good enough for prints. And then you can also take 720p video. And we've compared the quality versus the Droid X, and we think that the iPhone 4 is slightly better in terms of the level of detail, the smoothness of the motion, and it also has a lot less trouble when switching between darker areas and lighter areas when we go up and down.